Real quick. Happy Tuesday, everybody. This is gonna be a real quick one. You know what I mean? What's good? What I tell y'all about Zach Edey? What did I say to y'all about Zach Edey? Just remind me of what I said and what I've been saying for a whole year before he got to the league. He's a beast, and he should have been the number one pick. Listen, he's coming into the league with a chip on his shoulder. He's not, listen, every opportunity he gets, whether he's starting or coming off the bench, he's going to show and prove. Y'all played with his name, act like he wasn't a two-time Naismith winner. Two-time Naismith winner. Almost National Defensive Player of the Year. The Raptors got Jamal Chev, who ended up being National Defensive Player of the Year. But he almost won National Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. And y'all telling me he shouldn't have been the number one pick? Because he doesn't have this mythical lateral movement that y'all talk so much about. He's not fast enough. Alright? Keep thinking speed is what counts the most when you're 7'4". Who's going to be fast at 7'4"? You got to give up something to get something. What he doesn't have in speed, he has in power and ability. He's 7'4". You can't teach that. He's going to have a great career. He's going to be fine. Y'all acting like he ain't lead his team to the national championship. Part of all this fantasy potential that you put on these players is based off of your own personal preference. Y'all all romanticize certain guys with certain skill sets that you identify with without looking at those who are outside that box objectively and honestly. How can you not say he's not a number one pick overall? I don't even understand that. But we saw last night why he should have been. No matter where you put him, he's motivated and skilled enough to do well, to stand out, to perform, to be productive. And that's all you can ask of him. You know what I mean? This softer version of the NBA is built for him. It's perfect for him. 7'4" with a post-up game, a teardrop. He can score at will. Who's going to stop him? And I wish you would say Wemby. I can't wait till they play against each other because they're two sides of the same coin. I want to see that. 23 points, 9 rebounds off the bench. And that was a grown man 23 and 9 too. It wasn't light. He went up against the Pacers. And shout out to the Pacers. Pascal didn't play. Nembhard didn't play. A lot of guys who normally play didn't play. Mathurin is getting back into the swing of things. I get it. So this isn't an indictment on the Pacers. But this is about Zach Edey. And what I've been telling y'all, he wants to prove that he's as good as anybody that y'all put the labels on and anybody that you romanticize about being a fantastic ball player. In your fantasy, you don't have him in that group. And that's crazy. And now all of a sudden, he's the number one guy in the polls to be Rookie of the Year. Of course he is. He's the best player. And he's playing with Ja Morant, who's going to use him. And he's on the right team. Listen, the 9th seed was Memphis was the perfect spot for him. Perfect. And he's motivated. A lot of kids don't come into the NBA motivated. They come in motivated to get to the NBA. They're not motivated as much once they get into the NBA. The only motivation they have is to get paid enough to have the lifestyle that they want. They don't want to thrive and dominate in the NBA. That takes a different type of motivation. That takes a different type of player. Zach Edey wants to be remembered. He wants to because he's tired of being forgotten. He's a great player. How do you skip over him? How? And I watched this game and listen, Memphis jumped out early. They jumped out early and set the tone and won the first 3 quarters. And then they fought off the Pacers in the 4th to keep the game. That's everybody's MO. Everybody's MO this year is to win the first quarter and then fight everybody off with 3-point shooting. Tonight, this is what I was talking to y'all about in my last video. I don't want to see guys or teams shooting 45 to 50% of their shots as threes. But this is what we're seeing. With Steph Curry being sensational in the Olympics and proving that 3-point shooting can thrive in a physical environment, you're going to see more 3-point shooting this year. It's going to be a record setting year for team 3-point shooting and 3-point attempts. 43 of their shots, 43 of their 92 shots were threes. 46% of their shots were threes. They hit, mind you, they hit 16 of them. So it's not like it didn't make sense. It does make sense. But now we're looking at the Boston Celtics effect. They figured out, watching Steph and playing against Steph in the finals, that the more threes you take, the better chance you have, one, of hitting them and of separating yourself from your competition. That's what separates Steph from everybody else. When the Boston Celtics lost to the Golden State Warriors, the only separation they had was that Steph was a volume three-point shooter and hit them. Just imagine if you have that concept as a team. And that's all they did. They took what they saw Steph do and turned it into a team concept. I've been telling y'all that for the last 2 years, and it's been working. And it does work if you have the other foundational layers attached to it, which the Celtics have and which the Pacers have. They had a solid game. 120 points on 92 shots, made 16 threes, 47 rebounds, 32 assists, 18 fast break points, 54 points in the paint. They took care of the white-collar scoring and the blue-collar work. That's what accentuates the three-point shooting. This is what we're going to see more of. I can respect the fact that if you're going to shoot 46 to 48% of your shots being threes, as long as you take care of the other fundamentally sound things that basketball is about, I can't even be upset about that. I got to accept the change in the evolution. But they got Zach Edey on top of that, which makes life that much more, that makes the mo better. He's 7'4", got you 23-9 off the bench, and that was a grown man 23-9. That he battled against Miles, Jackson, and Wiseman. 7 foot, 6'10", 7'1", manhandled all of them. Wiseman is worse than we thought. He got manhandled by Zach Edey. It was like he was a non-factor. Jackson, he got handled by Edey. And then Miles had his work cut out for him. If Miles wasn't hitting threes, it would have got ugly for him. He had to use his physicality, and that takes energy away from a three-point shooter. But shout out to Zach Edey, man. He's every bit of the player we thought he would be. Those who championed him. When your team jumps out to a big lead and they're able to hold on, and then you're able to implement a Zach Edey to patrol the paint and then be a post presence, it makes it that much easier for your three-point shooters throughout the game. And easier to maintain the lead if a run gets going. They could throw ice on any type of momentum just putting Zach Edey in. There's no second unit defender that can stop him. If he comes off the bench, he's Rookie of the Year and possibly Sixth Man of the Year. There's no answer for that. There is no bench that has answer for a 7'4" player who's motivated to prove himself. That's a fact. So whether they start him or he comes off the bench, he's going to be an asset for them. He should have been the number one pick. There's no way around that conversation. You can't tell me any different. He's going to make an immediate impact. This was a physical night. Miles, Wiseman, and Jackson were physical. 7 feet, 6'10", 7'1", could do nothing with him. That spin move into that two-handed dunk, there's no answer for that. Y'all talk about lateral movement. What about the guys who have to guard him? And his footwork offensively is fundamentally sound enough to make an all-star it'll put pressure on your favorite player's lateral movement that y'all talk so much about. He's slow. Everybody's slow. The only players that are fast are guards. Everybody else is regular people. He's 7'4". How fast do you expect a 7'4" player to be? You give up some things to gain some things. Give me 7'4" with a chip on his shoulder any day. Whether it be coming off the bench or starting, I like his chances of being successful in this paper-thin NBA. He's going to take advantage of every opportunity to be aggressive. There's no answer for him. None. Now, Wemby is more athletic. Wemby is more athletic and more of a guard. Zach is more of a traditional post power player. They contrast and can be compared, but I like the difference between the two, and I like the fact that they're going to be able to be their own player. They're both going to be great. And they're both going to be in a conversation with each other. And then when you bring in Cooper Flag, who's kind of like the amalgamation of both of them, it's going to be fun to watch, man. The NBA is going to have a bunch of 7-footers who can do a lot of the things that the vanguard, like the Wilts and the Bill Russells used to do, moving into the Patrick Ewing, the Zoes and the Alonzos and the Ralph Sampsons and the Elijah Wants and the Shaqs. We're going to be moving around into those realms with different players, seeing different shining lights of, greatness here and there. There's going to be sparkles of it throughout the league in these young big fellas. And that's all I want. As long as the game has a good amalgamation of what basketball is, I'm cool with the evolution of the entertainment portion of it. It's entertaining. The 82 game season is very tough to watch. Let's be clear on that. It's game after game after game. 3-point shooting makes it more exciting and more interesting. It has magnificent entertainment power. We get it. 3-point shooting has star power. It is the Bella of the ball. But we want to see the other portions of basketball that make us remember what it was like when we played and what it was like when we were watching it as kids. It can't just be this separation between where it came from and where it is today. Because then you lose the history of the game and it's not as appreciated as it should be. You know what I mean? But shout out to Zach Edey. We need a player who's a throwback sort of player to be thrown into the gist of this newness. That way, when you start having these comparisons, you can say, but look at Zach Edey. He's doing well. Those other players, Patrick Ewing, Shaq, all them guys would have did well. Keem, they would be doing well in this era also. It's softer now. But then again, it would have transitioned into something a lot tougher and more physical because they would be dominating. You only have the type of basketball that you have based off of the personnel you have on the court. It was different when David Stern was the commissioner. You know what I mean? And respectfully, we getting what we get. We're getting great entertainment. And then in the playoffs, we're going to get grown man business. I could accept that. I could accept it. If you give me the candy and the cake and the dessert, as long as you can give me my vegetables and my proteins when I need it the most come April, May, and June. As long as we get what we need to keep us healthy, you know what I mean, we good. But shout out to Zach Edey. I got him winning Rookie of the Year. And he is the best player to come into the NBA. He's better than everybody that came in before him and after him. He should have been the number one pick. He was the best option and the best player. And he's now, with all this shit that everybody was talking, he went to the right place with the right group. And now he's going to be a problem for everybody in the Western Conference and anybody that has to deal with him, whether he's coming off the bench or starting. He's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem. You can say whatever you want. Your power forward and your center are going to have to deal with that headache. And if he's coming off the bench, your second unit has no prayer in the world. He's shown that. Wiseman got in there, who was a number one pick, and got manhandled. Like he wasn't even there. Jackson, that was all physical. Miles put work in as well. This kid ended up with 23 and 9 that was a physical grown man. That was a hard A-. You know how you have those classes where you get an easy A, then you got the hard C's, and then this was a hard A-. You know what I mean? He earned the right to hold his head high and understand that he belongs in the NBA. Not only that a lot of the stuff that he wants to achieve is possible. It's going to be right performances, right timing, right momentum. He's going to get a lot. Listen, like I said, before his career is over, within the next 7 years, he's going to be in the running for MVP. Guaranteed. Because Memphis is going to need him to be a star in order for them to make a serious run in the West. Because Ja Morant can only take you but so far. Bane can only get you but so far. They need a presence in the post come the playoffs. And if he's able to hold his own, whether coming off the bench or starting, they got a better shot than anybody to come out the West. And if he's dominant, what are you going to do when Joker leaves and it's just Zach Edey? When Anthony Davis is on his way out. And he's definitely he's been on his way out physically. There's no real answers for him night in and night out for a 7'4" guy that's motivated. who plays at his own pace. That's what's beautiful about him. He plays at his own pace. He's not trying to do too much. He's playing his game. The same game that worked at Purdue is the same game he's bringing to the NBA. And he's getting stronger. We're going to see, man. We're going to have some fun. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what he evolves into. Shout out to Zach Edey. Tell me what you think in the comments section. Don't forget to hit that like button. You already know what it is. I'm out of here. Peace.